Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the parliament, right? And basically within this particular topic, we have scheduled these topics for the discussion. Like starting with the introduction part, thereafter organization of parliament, thereafter composition of the two houses, thereafter systems of election to Lok Sabha, thereafter duration of two houses, thereafter membership of parliament, thereafter presiding officers of parliament, thereafter leaders in parliament, thereafter sessions of parliament, thereafter devices of parliamentary proceedings, thereafter legislative procedure in parliament, thereafter joint sitting of two houses, thereafter budget in parliament, thereafter multifunctional role of parliament, thereafter ineffectiveness of parliamentary control, thereafter the position of Rajya Sabha, then parliamentary privileges, and then the sovereignty of parliament. So these all are the topics we had scheduled for discussion. If we talk about the topics we have covered so far, okay? So basically the topics that we have covered, these topics are introduction part, organization of parliament, composition of two houses, system of elections to Lok Sabha, duration of two houses, membership of parliament, presiding officers of parliament, leaders in parliament, sessions of parliament, devices of parliamentary proceedings, legislative role or the legislative process in parliament, joint sitting of two houses is a topic that we are required to discuss right now. Okay, these all are the topics that we have covered so far. Then the budget in parliament, multifunctional role of parliament, ineffectiveness of parliamentary control, the position of Rajya Sabha, parliamentary privileges, and the sovereignty of parliament. Okay, so these are the picture that we have created so far altogether. Basically, in this lecture, we will start from where we had left in the previous one. Okay, so basically, we are going to talk about the joint sitting. Prior to this, we had discussed the financial bill. Okay, and we had discussed all these provisions that are written over here. Okay, but right now, we are going to talk about the joint sitting of the two houses. When the joint sitting of the two houses is called, we are going to see this. But before this, let me ask you one simple question. And the question is, from which constitution of the world we had borrowed the concept of joint sitting? To answer this question, I will grant you the tenure of 30 seconds. You are required to think and tell me the answer within that particular time. Okay, so your time is going to be start now. Just time period of 30 seconds you guys have to think an answer. Then I will give you the answer. Alright, 10 seconds have been passed off. Last 20s are remaining. Just think correctly and think accurately. What could be the answer? Alright, okay, last 10 seconds are there. Okay, the time is over now. So the joint sitting concept of the Parliament House, we had borrowed it from the Constitution of Australia. Okay, joint sitting of the houses has been borrowed from the Australian Constitution. Just keep this thing in your mind. Alright, and thereafter there is one more question also for you that we had just covered in our previous few lectures. Not so, apart from them. So the question is, Which article of the Indian Constitution stands out for money bill? Again, I am repeating. Which article of the Indian Constitution stands out for money bill? To answer this question, you will have the time period of 30 seconds to think and answer, and your time will be going to start now. Just think correctly and think accurately. 10 seconds have been passed off, last 20s are remaining. Last 10 seconds are there. Okay, the time's up. The correct answer is Article 110 of the Indian Constitution deals for the money bill. Alright. So we can say a joint sitting is an extraordinary machinery provided by the Constitution to resolve a deadlock between the two houses over the passage of the bill. So basically, if we talk about it in the proper sense, we could say the Indian Parliament is not a unilateral parliament which comprising only one house. Okay, the Indian Parliament is comprising of basically the two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, right? These two are the houses of the parliament. Any bill, unless it is a, or you can say any bill, money bill, constitutional amendment bill, financial bill, ordinary bill. Okay. So remember, joint sitting provision is not applicable in form of the money bill or the constitutional amendment bill. Okay. So generally, in the case of the ordinary bills, the bill could be produced in either house of the parliament, Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, right? And here is a condition that basically the bill, if passed by one house, okay, then it will be sent to the another house, and the bill is to be passed by the another house also. Similar is here. If the bill was presented in Rajya Sabha and passed in Rajya Sabha, then the bill will move to the Lok Sabha, and then Lok Sabha is required to pass it. Okay, that is what we called as an passage of a bill. Now, here comes the concept of deadlock. What is the concept of deadlock? So we could understand it like this. Suppose the bill was presented and passed by the one house of the parliament. Presented and passed by one house of parliament. Okay. Then when the bill reaches the another house of parliament, the another house refused to pass the bill. And that creates the deadlock between the two houses. It means one house is in favor, second house is opposing. Okay. And resolving this deadlock is very, very important for the democracy, because without passing the bill from both the houses, the bill could not be introduced as a, you can say, any act. All right. So that's why it's become easy, or that's why it become necessary for the houses to resolve this deadlock and passes the bill, so that the bill could be sent for the president assent and could be granted as an particular act. Got it? That's the thing. So we can say a deadlock is deemed to have taken place under any of the following three situations. After a bill has been passed by one house and transmitted to the other house. So we can say, like, this is the bill, and this bill is to be passed from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, which means both the houses of parliament. Then, on which grounds we could consider that there is a deadlock between the houses? On which ground we could consider that there is no deadlock between the houses, right? So this is basically defined in the three situations. If any of this situation is there, then that will be considered as an deadlock. Okay, like the first condition is if the bill is rejected by the other house. Suppose the first condition could be suppose the bill was presented in Lok Sabha. After passing from Lok Sabha, the bill has been sent to the Rajya Sabha. Alright, but here the Rajya Sabha refused to pass the bill. Then deadlock situation will be there. Consequently, if we reverse the situation, like the bill got passed in Rajya Sabha and then gone to the Lok Sabha, but Lok Sabha rejected the bill. So one house passed, second house reject. The first condition is there. Second, if the houses have finally disagreed as the amendments to be made in the bill. So we can say, suppose if this is the bill containing several portions. Okay. So now the bill has been presented and passed in the Lok Sabha. Bill went to the Rajya Sabha, and when bill presented to the Rajya Sabha said, okay, we will pass the bill, but there are some provisions which are mentioned here. These are to be amended. It means that if these provisions would remain as it is, then we could not pass the bill. Okay, so it means the second house accepted the bill but made some amendments, and without approving these amendments, the bill could not be passed. Because suppose there is a mechanism when the bill was present and passed in the Lok Sabha and sent to the Rajya Sabha, then Rajya Sabha is required to pass it. But if they introduce several amendments, then the bill will again send to the Lok Sabha for the further consideration. It means that if there are 10 provisions in this bill and 5 of them got amended and modified by the Rajya Sabha, then the bill will be returned to the Lok Sabha with those 5 amendments, and now it's up to Lok Sabha whether they would like to pass the bill with those amendments or not. And if Lok Sabha rejected the concept of those amendments and said that they are not going to pass those amendments, okay, and the bill must be passed with its original cause, then it will be a deadlock session. Why? One house passed, second house introduced some amendments, and the house which had passed it earlier rejected those amendments. Okay, then this will be a case of second condition. Third condition, if more than 6 months have elapsed from the date of the receipt of the bill by other house without bill being passed by. For example, this is Lok Sabha, this is Rajya Sabha. The bill presented in the Rajya Sabha and passed by the Rajya Sabha, sent to the Lok Sabha on 1st January, okay, then till the 1st July, the bill will be valid, okay, and the Rajya Sabha will only have the time period of these 6 months. To pass the bill, okay. If Rajya Sabha did not take any action on this to pass the bill, automatically that will be considered as an deadlock session. Why? Because the given time period has been over, another house has not taken any action, so this will be considered as an elapsation of time period, and that will be a deadlock. So if any of these three conditions if any of the three conditions are there, then that session would be called as a deadlock session. If the bill passed from one house, reached to the other house, but other house rejected the bill. First condition. If the houses finally disagreed, because the one house which passed the bill in its original form sent the bill to the another house, but the another house rejected the bill, or we can say introduced some bill or introduced some amendments in the bill, and then the bill will be resent to the Lok Sabha, which had passed it earlier, but because of the things, the bill could not be passed. It's messy up, right? So let's recall it in the simpler form. Lok Sabha passed the bill, sent it to the Rajya Sabha with 10 provisions. Rajya Sabha said that we could pass the bill, but we want amendment or the changes in 5 provisions out of these 7 provisions. Then Rajya Sabha introduced several changes on those 5 amendments. Then the bill in amending form returned back to the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha rejected all the amendments which were made by the Rajya Sabha. Then it will be a deadlock situation. Okay. Third condition is when bill passed in the one house and sent to the another house, the date from where the bill has been sent to the Rajya Sabha will be a starting date for these tenures of 6 months. After this 6 months, if Rajya Sabha fails to take any action, it means rejected the bill, introducing the amendment, passed the bill, any of these action not taken by the Rajya Sabha, and a tenure of 6 months has been over, then it will be considered as an violation of the time period, and that will be a deadlock situation between the houses. Got it? So I hope the conditions has been clear to you. Now let's move forward. So now we have several other things to consider. Like we could say, in the above 3 situations that have been mentioned over there, rejection of the bill, introducing amendments but rejected by the another house, not taking any action. Okay, in any of the above 3 situations. All right, any of the above 3 situations, then the president can summon both the houses to meet in a joint sitting for the purpose of deliberating and voting on the bill. It means that the president will admit the situation and will call for the joint sitting of the both the houses, so that the members of both the house could sit together, deliberate themselves and their opinions, okay, so that and joint view could be gathered on this. On the basis of the gathered joint view, the voting on the bill would be started. Okay. Thereafter, it must be noted here that the provision of joint sitting is applicable to ordinary bills or financial bills, and not to the money bills or constitutional amendment bills. Like, if there was any ordinary bill that has gone through these 3 situations, then only the president could call for the summon for both the houses to meet in a joint sitting. Okay, or in the case of financial bills only. In the case of money bill or the constitutional amendment bills, the president has no powers to call for the joint sitting, or we can say there is no provision of joint sitting of 2 houses. Okay, so it means if the bill gets failed in any of the house, the bill will be failed. Okay, so we can say in the case of a money bill, in the case of a money bill, Lok Sabha is having some overriding powers. overriding powers. Okay, it means that, like we know, the Lok Sabha is the only place where the money bill, the MB, could be presented, right? And once the Lok Sabha pass the bill, then the bill will be sent to the Rajya Sabha for its consideration. Okay, then we know the Rajya Sabha having no rights to reject the bill. Okay, even if they want to make several changes, then those changes will not be count as an amendment, but would be count as a recommendation. Like Rajya Sabha wants, these changes should be made in the bill. Okay, so that will be called as an recommendation. And these recommendations is totally on the discretionary of Lok Sabha, whether the Lok Sabha wants to accept them or not. It could not be said that if the Lok Sabha rejects the recommendations, then that will be called as a deadlock between two houses. Okay. Thereafter, the three situation was there. That was the tenure of 6 months. Like first situation, we have covered handling of the bill. The Lok Sabha passed the bill and Rajya Sabha could not reject the bill. So the first condition becomes null and void here. Second condition was, if the Lok Sabha passed the bill and Rajya Sabha wants some changes, then Rajya Sabha could not introduce the amendments, but they could only make the recommendations. Accepting or rejecting the recommendation is full discretionary of the Lok Sabha. Second condition becomes null and void here. Third is the time period. Okay. So in the cases of ordinary bill or the financial bill, maximum time period that would be granted for passing of that bill, that would be of 6 months. Okay. Minimum 6 months time period has been granted. Once the tenure of 6 months would be passed and no action has been taken by any of the house, okay, to whom the bill was presented after being passed, then that will be considered as a deadlock. But in the case of money bill, instead of providing the 6 months, only the 14 days time period would be presented. The Lok Sabha sent the bill to the Rajya Sabha and the date from where the bill has been sent. After this date, the counting would be started. Okay, and only 14 days the Rajya Sabha will have to pass the bill or introduce any recommendation or changes. If Rajya Sabha fails to do it, the bill will be passed automatically without any changes and any recommendations of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so these are the overriding powers which have been granted to the Lok Sabha as far as money bill is considered. Okay. Thereafter, while a constitutional amendment bill must be passed by each house separately, it means that there are the two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha passed the bill and sent it to the Lok Sabha. Then, if Lok Sabha rejected the bill, the constitutional amendment bill will be rejected over there. There will be no provision for joint sitting. Similarly, if the Lok Sabha passed the bill and sent to the Rajya Sabha and somehow Rajya Sabha rejected the bill, then the bill will be rejected automatically and there will be no provision for joint sitting. Got it? That is the thing. Alright. Thereafter, in reckoning the period of 6 months, okay, no account can be taken of any period during such which the other house to which the bill has been sent is prorogued or adjourned for more than 4 consecutive days. Okay. So we can say, suppose this is the condition. Like the bill was presented in Lok Sabha, sent to the Rajya Sabha. And now we are taking about only the ordinary or the financial bills. Okay. Then we know the tenure of 6 months would be started. Within this 6 months, the Rajya Sabha has to pass the bill, introduce the amendments, or reject the bill. Okay. But if between this tenure, Rajya Sabha got suspended, or you can say prorogued or adjourned for 4 consecutive days or continuously for 4 days, then that tenure of 4 days period will not be counted. Okay. Like we talk about the 6 months, it means 180 days. Within these 180 days, the action must be taken by the another house to which the bill has been sent. But if the another house has been prorogued or adjourned for more than 4 consecutive days, in such a case, what will happen? The 180 days tenure will be minus 4. Okay. And those 4 days will be given extra apart from those 6 months. Okay. Similarly, if the condition got reversed, the Rajya Sabha sent a bill to the Lok Sabha, and in this case, basically the Lok Sabha got prorogued or adjourned for 4 continuous or consecutive days between the tenure of those 180 days. Then again those 4 days will be minus from the tenure of 180 days, and additional 4 days will be given to the Lok Sabha for the consideration of the bill. Alright, that is the thing. Thereafter, if the bill is under dispute and this is already lapsed due to the dissolution of the Lok Sabha, no joint sitting can be summoned. It means that, suppose we can say, basically the bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha, sent to the Lok Sabha, or the bill was passed to the Lok Sabha and sent to the Rajya Sabha. When the bill was sent to the Lok Sabha, in the first case, the Lok Sabha got dissolved. And when the Lok Sabha got dissolved, ultimately we know the bill couldn't be passed. In such a case, when because of the dissolution of the Lok Sabha, the bill couldn't pass, for those bill, no joint sitting can be summoned. Okay. Similarly, we can say the Lok Sabha has passed the bill to the Rajya Sabha, and Rajya Sabha introduced several amendments. And then the bill sent back to the Lok Sabha, but again the Lok Sabha got dissolved. Then again the bill will be lapsed because of the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. In this case also, no joint sitting can be summoned. Okay. So it could be only summoned when both the houses are in session. If any of the house is not in session, ultimately no summon could be carried out for joint sitting, especially during the case of dissolution of the Lok Sabha. Alright. So now let's move forward. But the joint sitting can be held if the Lok Sabha dissolved after the President has notified his intention to summon such a sitting, as the bill does not lapse in this case. For example, the bill presented to the Rajya Sabha, okay, and Rajya Sabha rejected the bill, introduced the amendments that were rejected by the Lok Sabha, and we can say the Rajya Sabha did not take any action on the bill after the 6 months or within the 6 months. Okay. So basically, in such a case, for example, we can say the Lok Sabha got dissolved on 5th of September. Then we know if the Lok Sabha is not in a session, no joint sitting could be called off. But here is an exception. And what is that exception? Assume before the time period of 5th of September, on the 31st August, the President has already notified that he is having the intention to summon a sitting for the passage of the bill through the resolution of both the houses. Okay. Then in that case, basically the Lok Sabha could be held and the joint sitting could be held. Alright. because in such a case, even before the dissolution of the Lok Sabha, the notification for the joint sitting has been passed. But if the President got an intention to call the joint sitting after the 5th of September, when the Lok Sabha got dissolved, then in such a case, no joint sitting could be called. Why? Because this would be a case of lapse of the bill. Got it? Thereafter, after the President notifies his intention to summon a joint sitting of the two houses, none of the house can proceed further with the bill. Okay? It means that neither the Rajya Sabha could make any changes in the bill or pass the bill, nor the Lok Sabha could make any changes or pass the bill once the President has notified his intention to calling for the joint sitting for the resolution of that particular bill. Alright? That is the thing. After this, the Speaker of Lok Sabha presides over a joint sitting of the two houses and the Deputy Speaker in his absence. So who will preside over the joint sitting? Lok Sabha Speaker. And if the Lok Sabha Speaker is not there, then in such a case, the Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha will preside over the meeting. Thereafter, if there is another condition where the Deputy Speaker is also not there, okay? In such a case, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, but the deputy chairman, okay? The deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha will preside. If in a condition the deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha is also absent, not present there, then such other person who may be determined by the members who are present at the joint sitting, that particular member will be presides over the meeting. Okay? It is clear that chairman of Rajya Sabha does not preside over the meeting because he is not a member of either of the House of Parliament. The chairman of Rajya Sabha is by default the Vice President of India, and being a Vice President of India, by defaulted he is a chairman of Rajya Sabha. Thereafter, the quorum to constitute a joint sitting is 1/10 of the total number of members of the two houses. Okay. The joint sitting is generally governed by the rules of procedures of Lok Sabha and not of the Rajya Sabha. If the bill is under dispute and it is passed by the majority of the total number of members of both the houses who are present and voting in the joint sitting, then the bill is deemed to have been passed by both the houses instead of passing from there separately. Normally, the Lok Sabha with greater number wins the battle in the joint sitting because we know they have the more number of seats. The Constitution has specified that at a joint sitting, new amendments to the bill cannot be proposed except in two cases. First case is those amendments that have caused the final disagreement between the houses, those amendments that might have become necessary due to the heavy delay of the passage of the bill. Since 1950, regarding the joint sitting or the provisions of this of the houses has been echoed only thrice. The bills that have been passed during the joint sittings are Dowry Prohibition Bill 1960, Banking Service Commission Repealment Bill 1977, Prevention of Terrorism Bill 2002. Thereafter, this is an budget in Parliament, so we can say the Constitution refers the budget as an annual financial statement. In other words, the budget has nowhere been used in the Constitution. Popular name for the annual financial statement has been deals with the Article 1112 of the Constitution. The budget is a statement of the estimated receipts and expenditure of the Government of India in a financial year that starts from 1st April to 31st of March of the following year. Okay. In addition to the estimates of receipt and expenditure, budget also contains other elements that we will see later. So students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture, we will continue from here. Till then, just revise the facts and figures that all we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the next lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture and thank you.